dismissed every accomplishment I've made. You've talked about my father. Well, you call me an entitled millennial, I call you a carny succubus, because the dirty secret about you, the dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs you.
What up, y'all? It's KMV the Sexy Ninja in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and we're talking about Monday Night Raw, October 6, 2025. Joe and Wade on commentary in Dallas, Texas. This was a big one, and you go big in Texas. This is a go-home show to Crown Jewel Perth this Saturday. If you're on the East Coast, you get to see it at 8. If you're on the West Coast, well, I'm not on the West Coast, but I'm pretty much near that time frame. I get to watch it at 5 a.m. in the morning. Woo, baby. Get up early, all crusty-eyed, and be like, oh, yeah, let's watch some wrestling. Let's watch that wrestling. And confirmed card going in, because we build a lot of it here. We have the Crown Jewel Men's Championship, Cody versus Seth. Crown Jewels Women's Championship, Stephanie versus Tiffy. And then we have an Australian, I'm going to say Aussie, right? The same thing. Australian street fight between Roman and Bronson Reed. Kabuki Warriors versus Rio. And John Cena versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. All these got built up, and John and AJ kind of didn't. I really wish we could have seen more, like some promos back and forth. You know, this would have been a fun night to have John and AJ kind of go at it. But hey, AJ speaks on it, and we'll get to that here. We started off with Roman Reigns, our tribal chief. He comes out, huge pop. Roman Reigns, you know, OTC, Mr. Roman Reigns himself. Real quick before I get into this, fun fact. So, I think the first 2 or maybe 3 crown jewels, I could be wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I'm actually looking at it. Is not on Peacock. They have all the other crown jewels, I believe, from 2021 on forward. I don't think they went there in 2020 because that was COVID. But they don't have the first 2, at least, of Crown Jewel, especially the one with the Undertaker, Kane versus DX. And rightfully so. Do we want to see that again? No, but I was just curious. And I went to see if I can find the DVD on, you know, because that show was so controversial upon itself that it sparked Evolution. And that DVD is going for some money right there. But, you know, then we got the second Evolution, of course, years later. But that the Crown Jewel itself was such a crazy idea and concept. And the fact, too, that they're just using it as a launching pad to go to the overseas, you know, going to Perth and Australia and all that, which is awesome. You know, using that title. But, man, I remember when the deal happened, and it was like, holy shit, what? Crown Jewel? You know, and what are we going over there for? You know, and I believe there was some superstars that got stuck over there that first time around. I believe Brock Lesnar got stuck over there when he flew and this and that. I just remember it was just a big deal, and I find it interesting that it's not on Peacock. And one of the things information I got back was like, oh, well, Peacock didn't stream it, so that's why it's not on the Peacock app. I was like, well, you sure as hell didn't stream the first WrestleMania. You sure as hell didn't stream all these other things before we got on Peacock. So why is all that on Peacock then if you want to play that card? Huh? Sons of bitches. Yeah, but I just found that interesting. I have a couple Crown Jewel DVDs around here somewhere. I know I had to have the Roman versus Logan Paul one. There's another one I have around here somewhere. But found that interesting. What do you think? All right, we'll start the show off with Roman Reigns, and he comes out. Before he can even really speak, here comes Bronson Reed, the tribal thief. And he's with Paul Heyman, and Paul is the one doing the talking, which I like because Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker cannot talk at all. I'm putting that out there right now. They can't talk at all. So I'm glad they finally let Paul talk for a bit. You know, Bronson talked a little bit, but in Roman Reigns, they're talking a bunch of smack. Roman's like, you want some? Come get some then. Let's fight. Let's fight right now. And then Paul's like, no, you guys, we're going to have you two fight at Crown Jewel in the Australian street fight. There better be kangaroos, goddammit. But this sets up a big brawl between Roman and Bronson, Superman punches and everything. These two are going to fight it out. And I was reading rumors and speculation because I already heard about this match being one of the matches for Crown Jewel Perth, and which is rightfully so awesome for Bronson Reed. It's like not having Rhea on the card either. These two are from Australia, and it'd be awesome if they can wrestle in front of their home crowds, especially too with the Bronze being on fire and beating, everybody. This is just a big thing for Bronson Reed. Now, is the case, does Bronson Reed need to win this match? I think so. They've been winning a lot of other matches, you know what I mean? Like, I think he could beat Roman. Roman could be nice enough to take the fall here, but it's one of those things. Like, I'm very excited about Roman versus Bronson, but Bronson needs the win? Question mark? Drop those comments below. We'll talk. Let's talk. Adam is with Asuka and Kairi. I love this. This is like some Japanese drama unfolding, like TV show within a TV show between Asuka and Kairi Sane and Io Sky and everything like that. Asuka, poor Kairi, got slapped, but Asuka's screaming at Adam's like, I want you to make the match. I want a match between Kairi and Io Sky tonight. And I was like, oh, please, Lord, please, Adam, yeah, and then Asuka tells Kairi's like, I don't want to fight Io. I don't want to do that. And she's like, well, yeah, what did the 5 fingers say to the face? A slap. And Kairi's like, I don't want to do this no more. And Asuka's like, hooray! I'm loving every second of this. And then we get into our first match of the night. Becky versus Maxine. Holy shit. Honestly, my moment of the night and my match of the night. Maxine has proved some doubters wrong. I remember when she got booed out of the building. And I like Maxine Dupree. I know she got that whole thing with LA Knight in the beginning when they had the fashion. I don't remember. Oh, was it Max Dupree or something? Then she came in as Maxine Dupree, and it was that fashion models MXM who are now in AEW. Yeah, that thing just fell apart because it was like, why are you bringing over Why are you bringing over an LA Knight and giving him that role? Such a Vince thing. But when Triple H took over, he's like, we're getting rid of that. And Maxine just kind of fell, and she had her thing with Otis and Alpha Academy and stuff like that. But I was like, man, I really want Maxine to thrive here. And in this match, God bless you, Becky. You guided her very, very well, and Maxine put on one hell of a match. Yeah, this match was awesome. I mean, I was just like, Maxine's got to win this by some like variable of like, oh shit, she won, and she did, because Becky's ego got the best of her, and Maxine put on like I said, she won great match here, and she won from a count out. And as anything else in this world, that would be silly, but in this case, it was pretty freaking sweet. Becky's out there yelling, wah, 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 and then she gets the count out. She turns, she's like, what? Holy shit, what? No. And Maxine's like, I won. And I was like, if we're going to do something like that, because if she pinned Becky, I even thought a quick roll-up would be nice, but no, I like the count out finish a lot. And giving Maxine that win and giving Becky some doubts in her brain, being like, what? And she's going to go crazy because that's what Becky Lynch does. I just listened to a really great interview with her and Cody. I'm finally catching up on those Cody podcasts. Then we get Roman Reigns. He's with the Usos, and Jay's like, saying like, hey, man, there's a little tension between him and Jimmy. Roman, after he tells, he goes, why aren't you out there? Who's on the top of the hour? He goes, CM Punk. He goes, why is it not you? And Jey Uso's like, you know what? I'm going to go fix that. So he takes off, and Roman tells him, like, hey, why? I hear a lot of things, and why is it not okay for me to give Jay some advice? And Jimmy's like, wow. Ugh. Sounding like Kyler Murray from the Arizona Cardinals, like, well, so what happened was, good. Oh my gosh, man. Lyra versus Roxanne. Another stellar match. The women are on fire tonight. We have one more women's match later on. But yeah. Most funny is Bailey greets Lyra and she's like, let's go out there. And Lyra's like, what the hell? Okay, fine. You can go out there with me. And Raquel will be out there with Roxanne. And these two go at it. They know each other so well from the NXT days. Roxanne Perez is a treasure. Lyra is slowly growing on me a little bit more and more. I just don't really understand where we're going with the Bailey and Lyra situation. But, I know that this sets up a match for next week as well. Because Raquel takes out Bailey. Enough distraction for Roxanne to get the win. Bailey loses her shit, and as Roxanne and Raquel run away, she picks up Lyra and says, let's go kick their asses. And they well, we'll get there. But yeah, Bailey snaps. I love when Bailey snaps. Then we get a Cena and AJ package, from all the way when they first fought each other being the dream match and all the way to now being the final match between these two. And rumor has it that Gunther is Cena's last opponent for a Saturday night main event. Does that mean... I don't know. Like, Gunther coming back and exacting his revenge, and we want Brock and Gunther. That's something we want, but you have to have Gunther as a face. Brock just destroyed John Cena, made kids cry. So we're going to go to Gunther? That'll be a very interesting babyface in itself, is a Gunther. I don't know if he can do it, but I'll look at my Gunther action figure when I get into work because he's standing there greeting me. I'm like, the ring general. Then over on the right-hand corner is Roman. I'm like, my tribal chief. And then I have the man Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. I don't know why I'm telling you all my action figures in my office at work, but I greet them every day. There's little Godzilla too. There's a whole bunch of little figures. But yeah, good stuff here. Jackie's with AJ Styles, and Dragon Lee. Well, AJ Styles, he still has beef with Dominic Mysterio, and the Judgment Day getting in his face. I love what Dominic was wearing. He had a picture of himself as a kid, the blonde hair and everything on his shirt. I was like, oh, Dom. Oh, Dom, you're so goated. God, I love Dom. And he tells him, you know what? There's three of you. There's two of us. We'll go get a partner. We'll go find a partner to face you guys tonight. And the Judgment Day was like, fine, do it. Go ahead. We don't care. And as CM Punk's walking to the ring, Rusev is screaming at Adam, and I know he wants his rematch for the Intercontinental Championship against Dirty Dom. Then we get Penta and AJ and Dragon meeting up with Penta, saying hey, can you help us tonight? And Penta's like, hell yeah, Cierro Miedo, come on, let's do this. Let's go. Then we hear some noise. What's going on over there? Huh? Lyra and Bailey are beating down Raquel and Roxanne, which sets up a big tag team match for next Raw. And just to let you know, that's at 5 a.m. as well, because they're still going to be in Perth. So that's an early Monday Night Raw to start my second day off of my 2 days off. So I was just like, okay, I'll get up at 5 a.m. again. I don't give a fuck. I'll be out here. I'll be like, oh yeah, baby, give me all the WWE action in Perth. So Lyra and Bailey. So is Lyra going to the dark side? That's what I was questioning here. Is Bailey slowly turning her into a heel? If so, bring it on. CM Punk comes out. He says, I went away for a bit. Yeah, me and my wife had to celebrate. And thank you for bringing AJ Lee all that love. He's telling them thank you. And he goes, here I am. And yes, I lost in Paris, but still I am going to beat Seth Rollins to be champion. I am going to do that. But we have somebody that's going to say, nah, and that is LA Knight. I love the chemistry between LA and CM Punk. My wife was like, they need to be a tag team. I said, that would be cool, but we have some unfinished business here regarding this. And, Punk even said, I am staying out of Cody Rhodes' way in his business. Cody Rhodes, good luck to you, when you go face Seth. And Seth is very obsessed about this match. Rightfully so. He has no wins over Cody. And there's a really great thing that happens later on we'll get to. But, yeah, this is a big match for Seth freaking Rollins. And in this, LA is like, hey, man, you were pinned by Seth. You're the loser. I've never been pinned. You messed up my opportunity with Seth when I had my championship match. So if anybody's next in line, it's me. And he makes some good points. And then here comes Jey Uso. And Jey Uso's like, yo. Yeetin' ain't easy, is what his shirt said. The big bright green shirt. And Jey Uso is like, hey, man, I didn't get my title, my rematch. I didn't get this. I was like, well, technically, the Fatal 4-Way count as your rematch? Or you mean a one-on-one? But Jey Uso's like, yeah. So we have these three here, I believe, are going to fight at one point to determine who is going to be the number one contender. And Jey Uso has beef with LA Knight. He takes out LA Knight, and CM Punk's like, hey, man, you got a problem with me? Jimmy comes out. He's just trying to cool the situation, man. Poor Jimmy Uso. He's like, hey, and he then CM Punk gets in Jey Uso's face. He calls him Little Roman, which sets off a little bit like, oh, fuck you, you know what I mean? And oh my gosh, after Jey Uso gets hit by CM Punk, Jimmy super kicks CM Punk, and I'm like, oh, even Jimmy's like, oh, what did I do? And then all this tension and all this drama. Love it. So who do you think's deserving of the rematch? Punk, Knight, or Jey Uso? Personally, I would like to see Uso back with that championship, but I also want to see this falling deep into madness, into the darkness with Jey Uso. I love LA Knight. I think LA Knight's well-deserving as well. Punk, too, get that championship again, and hold it a little bit longer. There's a lot of opportunities on the table here, and we're just going to enjoy it as wrestling fans. We have an EO promo. And she tells the Kabuki Warriors, we are not friends no more. And it was confirmed that Rhea is not here to make any save whatsoever. If that's going to be the case, she is already in Australia making the rounds with the media because they got to hype up the show. They got to get those ticket sales going. We have Io versus Kairi. Oh my gosh. My favorite thing is Io walks in, she's determined, and she goes and takes out I want my Asuka. She goes and takes out Asuka first. She's just like, oh yeah, screw you, and just jumps at her, attacks her to start this match, and Kairi and Io put on one banger of a match. You knew they would. And Io and Kairi are going at each other. Asuka's causing distractions enough so for Kairi to get the win. I was like, damn. And, of course, they beat down Io after because there's no Roman here. Not Roman. There's no Rhea here. There's no Rhea to save Io. So Rio has a lot to do in Perth when they go against the Kabuki Warriors. We have a Cody and Seth package. The first one was called Enemies, and this second one was called Allies. And how Seth was Cody's shield at WrestleMania 40, righting the wrong, getting rid of Roman as champion, making Cody finish the story. And Seth made a good point. He's like, yeah, then several months later, you guys are teaming up? What? What? And I think he's even discussed it with Punk for teaming up with Roman and the Bloodline and stuff like that. So it's a lot, on Seth's mind and in his brain, because we go into the locker room with Becky, who's going back and forth and mumbling to herself, like, what's going on? Maxine beat me? What's going on? She's just losing it. And Paul's back there, and Seth is just looking at that watch, and he gets into it a little bit with Paul, and Paul delivers some Emmy-worthy performance here because Seth grabs and is like, what if I lose? Huh? What would happen? And he's like, well, you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose. And he's like, And that switch when he grabs Paul, and Paul's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know what? You know what's going to happen? You're going to lose that locker room. You're going to lose respect from the Bronze. You blah, blah, blah. You know, he's just naming off these things, and Seth's just listening. He's getting more angry, and he tells Seth, and he goes, what about you, Paul? What do you lose? He goes, I have to question a lot of things, especially why. Why did I pick you over Roman Reigns? That's what's going to happen if you lose. And I was like, ooh, oh, baby. You know, that's a lot to put on that man's plate. And Seth's like, all right. So it just makes me wonder, will he beat Cody? Will the Bronze help? Will Paul probably has a plan to help, you know, Seth get the win. So I'm very excited for Australia, Perth. We're laying a lot of bricks on this road, and we're just going full sell. And this is a really great Raw. This is what I love about go home shows for PLEs. They definitely need to lay all the groundwork they can. Then we have Penta, we have AJ and Dragon versus the Judgment Day, second favorite match of the night. Oh my goodness. Before AJ was going to cut a promo, then they cut him off, and he's like, motherfucker, you know. But Penta, AJ, Dragon taking on the Judgment Day. It's a back and forth battle, and just to make the things a little bit easier for Penta and AJ and Dragon, who get the win, is because of Rusev. He comes in, he's going after Dominic Mysterio. Dominic grabs both his championships. He jumps over the barricade, and he's running off because he's scared. I would be scared too if Rusev came at me. I'm not going to lie. Just putting it out there, okay? So there goes Dom. Whee! Runs off into the crowd with his championships for Penta and AJ to get the win over the Judgment Day. I know Finn and JD are not going to like that. They're like, dude, you ran away. And Dom's going to be like, well, yeah, it's Rusev. And AJ finally cuts his promo afterwards. He steps up on the commentary table, and he's just like, yes, me and John Cena at Perth, I promise you, it will kick ass. I was like, you go, AJ. Because it was just like on Twitter, boom, I want AJ Styles, let's do this. Triple H makes it official. There hasn't been really any back and forth between the two, and it takes AJ Styles to cut this little promo. It says, yeah, it will kick ass. You go, AJ Styles. It will kick ass. Like this podcast. It will. That's the new tagline for the New World podcast. It will kick ass. I promise you. Then we get LA and Punk backstage, and Punk's like, I didn't want this match. He's like, I don't care if you didn't want this match. We're going to go out there anyway and take on the Usos. And what's funny is I was looking at the time. I was like, wow, we're in the last 30 minutes, and we already have Penta, AJ, Dragon, and Judgment Day, and we still have the Usos versus Punk and LA coming. And you could tell, like, this was a fun match. This was a good main event, but they were rushing a little bit. And it was, it felt like, what is it called? I was just thinking about it the other day. If you watch All In, the original All In Chicago, and great pay-per-view, in the end, with the Bucks, I forgot, I think they were taking on Rey Mysterio, I believe. I'm trying to remember that main event. But yeah, they were running over time with pay-per-view. So they were just rushing the spots. Like, boom, 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 boom. This was well-paced. We did a little bit of the drama between LA, but man, you could tell that they were like, oh shit, all right, we're about to hit time. We're about to hit time. Go, 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 go. And after Punk hits to go to sleep, LA tags himself in to get the win for the 1, 2, 3. Punk's like, you son of a bitch. You took my win. You took my pin. And LA Knight's like, oh yeah. And he had a little boogie in his nose when he's walking out. And, and that's the way we end the show. Punk LA beats the Usos. Usos! And that's the way we tie up Monday Night Raw. We are headed to Australia, folks. And tonight is a showdown and Title Tuesday. So a lot of wrestling for a Tuesday night. Let's go, Dan. Let's go, Dan. All right? All right, we good then. I give this Raw a solid 5 out of 5. My match of the night is Becky versus Maxine. Moment of the night goes to Maxine getting the win over Becky of that countout because she looks so happy. Second match of the night is Penta, AJ, Dragon versus the Judgment Day. And moment of the night is LA's Boogies. Boogie, woogie, woogie, woo. And just to answer a question from the last podcast, I asked myself, I was like, what was the first Dynamite where I started? I went through the channel, I went through the notes and everything, and here it is. The first review of Dynamite I did, like an actual review, was for the September 28th, 2022 Dynamite. So they're already a couple years in, and then I finally bit the bullet for the New World podcast and jumped right on into Dynamite. So, and this is this is pretty awesome, man. This is season 5, episode 248. We're almost up to 250. I'm thinking of doing something special. I don't know what yet, but well, you know, if I do Title Tuesday first, then I do Showdown, that'll be episode 250. So yeah, it'll still be special. But thank y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate it. I had some good comments on the Collision where I ranted about some action figures and stuff like that, but we're just having a good time here, folks, and I appreciate it. I hope these podcasts help you, you know, and just make you happy, you know, even when I get frustrated with pro wrestling itself. All right, y'all, drop those comments below, hit that like, hit that subscribe, share with your grandma, share with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja, and remember that the New World Podcast is for life.
Superman punch! At Clash in Paris.